northern town far more north than any town should be. In fact, if you were to travel any farther north, you would begin going south. This is the Christmas of our unsuspecting hero, Nick. This year, he is a regular old Scrooge. One minor altercation with his superior and 4 layovers later, he is currently standing in the coldest place on Earth.
Welcome to the Birch Tavern. Not from around here, I take it.
Not even close.
What ails you, my friend?
Well, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm about 1,000 miles north of somewhere nice.
And where's somewhere nice, if you don't mind my asking?
I mind.
Come on.
New York City, where everything is really, really great. I'm just not feeling the magic here.
That explains the suit, and I suppose the total lack of warm clothing. I know something that might cheer you up. Only the best northern magic around.
And what is this?
My secret recipe. If I told you what it was, then I'd have to rename it to my known recipe. It'd be a lot less magical.
I see.
It's on the house. You look like you need it. Now, what's a big shot like you do in a place like this?
Well, I'm a journalist. Seems I fell out of the good graces of my boss because I'm supposed to cover the Christmas festival tomorrow. You know, the one here in this town.
Oh, it's a nice little festival. Last year we had so many people come out.
Oh, yeah. And how many people is so many people?
Well, I don't know. Must have been at least 50. I lost count, to be honest.
Wow.
We're anticipating a flash freeze tonight, with temperatures potentially dropping below 50 degrees Celsius. Heavy winds are blowing in from the east. It is advised that you stay indoors, at least until the worst is over. Exercise extreme caution if venturing outside, and only do so if you are prepared. In other news, a family...
Ooh, it's cold out there. Freezing, even for here. Are you sure you'll be okay conducting your business?
When I die, it's going to be on a tropical island in the arms of a beautiful woman. Not here. But thanks for the grub.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
The torrent of winds outside was far stronger than before, and blinded Nick the moment he left the Birch Tavern. After a series of small miracles, he made it to his rental and pulled out of the lot. The road that led to the motel was also north, which brought him further into the storm. Driving conditions were only getting worse, so he switched the radio on to get a weather update. Static across all channels. The signal was dead. He tried messing with the dials, but no luck. Nick returned his gaze to the road, only to catch a blurry figure coming up fast. He swerved to the left to avoid it, and the vehicle spun out. He gripped the wheel, hit the brakes, and prayed for his life that he would stop skidding. He eventually did stop, and cautiously exited the car to assess the situation. The rental was fine, but the figure remained on the road, unmoved.
What the hell, man? You could have killed me.
No response. No indication that the figure was even aware of him. Nick took a few steps closer. He still couldn't see it. He took a few more, and a few more. Nick could begin to see the frame of a man. Standing straight and tall, the man's back was turned to him. His arms were at his side, and he seemed largely undisturbed by the tempest of snow around him. Nick kept up the approach.
Are you okay?
That's when he turned. Nick could not describe his face. He stared into his being, and then there was no blizzard. There was no car or no road. There was just a fading memory of that connecting glance, chilling him as it became the last thing he could remember. Nick didn't remember passing out, but that drink must have really been magic, because he was now face down in the cold, wet snow. He casually stood up and brushed the snow off of himself. He had had enough of this night and wanted nothing more than to be back in his crummy hotel room. Figuring he had dreamt the whole fiasco, he looked around for the tavern, but was met with much different surroundings. He was at the edge of a small village towered by a giant castle, and just a few feet away from him was a tall pole. The pole was wrapped in tattered red and white rags and topped with a bright light.
Season's greetings.
Nick turned quickly towards the voice and was alarmed by what he saw.
What the hell?
Season's greetings. I'm Frosty.
Yeah, of course you are. This night just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Can you at least tell me where I am there, Frosty? Hey, get back here.
Nick reached for the snowman but was left with only a handful of snow that turned to water instantly. That's when he noticed the snowy figure was in fact melting. Suddenly, doors from the balcony of the castle slid open and a tall, slim figure walked into Nick's view.
Ho, ho, ho! It's that time of year again, my elves. The nights we all love.
Nick crept up close to the castle, making sure to stay out of view until he could make out the crowd Santa was talking to. The courtyard was lined with row after row of Christmas elves.
Prepare the reindeer and sleigh. We have a night full of giving to those who have worked so hard to get on this year's list. Ho, 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 ho.
When the speech had ended, the gathering of elves started heading up the hill to the village, right towards Nick. He spun quickly and ran into the closest building he could find, closing the door tightly behind him. The building was dark and quiet, but it didn't take him long to realize he was in a stable. At the back of the room was a shadowy figure.
Hello?
You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Why are you here?
If I knew, I would tell you.
The shadowy figure stood up and walked towards Nick. Step by step, it became clearer and clearer that Nick had found himself in the wrong building.
Look, if you can just tell me where I am, then maybe I can get home and we can forget any of this ever happened.
You shouldn't be here.
Nick backed up until he felt the stable doors push against his back. He quickly turned, opened the door, and ran as fast as he could, leaving the stables in the dark behind him. With no clue as to where he was running, Nick weaved in between buildings. Turn after turn, he wouldn't stop until he was sure the stables were far from him, when suddenly he was pulled into a small house.
Listen to me. We're a bit pressed for time.
You're the man on the street. What the hell am I doing here? Was that Santa at the castle? And who is that creepy guy in the stables? Actually, you know what? I don't even care. Just tell me what's going on.
If you'd stop talking, I would. You're in Santa's village, and the man you saw on the balcony is in fact Santa Claus. But he's not the one you know from all the stories and songs. His heart isn't as pure as it used to be. It's shrinking and changing him. He's taking everything that was great about his village away and turning Christmas into a punishment. He needs to be stopped, and you're going to help me stop him.
Okay, and how am I supposed to do that?
You need to get his hat. It's what gives him power.
Buddy, why can't you just do this yourself? Like, why do you need me?
They're too familiar with me. I won't be able to get into the castle.
That's it? Well, why me? I wouldn't exactly call myself a fan of Christmas.
The rest will become clear, I promise. There's a snowman that lives on the edge of town.
Yeah, Frosty.
You've met.
Sort of. He's a bit of an odd one.
He's melting. If you pack some snow on him, he should be fine. He can help you into the castle. He's been there many times and knows the layout better than Santa himself.
Are you serious?
Deadly. Here, take this.
An amulet? I didn't even think those were real. Please tell me what kind of strange and magical power it holds.
It's a good luck charm. You'll know when you need to use it.
You know what? Hold on a second. How am I even supposed to trust you? I don't even know your name.
I'm Jack Frost. Now, go find Frosty. It's already Christmas Eve, and we can't let Christmas go on this way. Go straight down the alley that way and take a right. You should see the light of the pole.
Nick followed the directions Jack Frost had given him, and within no time at all, he was approaching the odd snowman again.
Hey, Frosty, remember me? I need your help.
Baby, it's cold out there.
Let's hope this works.
Why did you do that?
I need your help.
I can't help you. I'm sorry.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Yeah, that Jack Frost guy, he said that you could help me get to Santa.
Why do you want to see Santa?
I'm supposed to stop him or something? I'm not entirely sure, because it sounds insane.
What did you say your name was?
Yeah, it's because I didn't. It's Nick, though, by the way.
It's you. You're finally here. Oh, this is so great.
Is he really that bad?
He killed my wife and daughter. He melted them in front of me and left me with no family, no love, no purpose. I used almost all of my magic trying to save them and escaping from him. That's why I'm melting. I couldn't help them. I'm afraid I can't help you either, Nick.
Listen, I'm from a huge city. Everyone's always in their own world, living their monotonous lives. Even though there are so many people, it really is easy to feel lonely. Day after day, I go to work for a guy who doesn't appreciate me, and every holiday, I call up my family and we talk for a couple minutes. That's my life. So I know how it feels to have no purpose. But maybe this is it.
Maybe.
Great. Now tell me how to get into the castle.
It was as if a new light had been found in the snowman, and with it came a plan of stealth and guise. He explained that there was an express elevator on the 3rd floor that would bring Nick right to Santa's living quarters. The hard part would be getting through the front gate and past the guards. For this, he would need a disguise.
The reindeer keeper will be asleep by now. So you just need to quietly sneak in, grab his cloak, and bring the reindeer Rudolph with you. Then tell the elf guards that you're transferring the reindeer to the castle. They're not all that bright. You won't have much trouble.
Yeah, that sounds simple enough.
Nick crept into the stables as quietly as he could, trying not to let the old wooden door creak too loudly. He squinted into the darkness to spot the old man's cloak hanging on a hook near one of the reindeer pens. He made it to the cloak with ease and gently pulled it up off the hook.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Nick's eyes went wide as he turned to see a reindeer staring right at him.
Let me guess, you're Rudolph.
The reindeer tilted its head as if it were assessing the man. Then it nodded.
Okay, come on, little guy. You're coming with me.
The castle was a fortress. It towered above the rest of the village. Towers of ice stood tall in corners of the castle, the largest one in the center. Under Santa's regime, the elves that worked at the North Pole looked more like soldiers. Wearing the reindeer keeper's cloak, Nick led Rudolph and approached the main gate, where 2 guards stood vigilant.
All right then, who goes there?
Yeah. I'm here for a reindeer transfer. I need to take this one to the stables.
I've not been informed, no I've not. Have you, mate?
Nah, nothing.
Well, there you have it. There'll be no surprise reindeer transfers on this satisfactory Christmas Eve without proper paperwork and authorization.
You don't understand. This needs to be done. It's super important.
Is that a little bird tweeting in my ear? Do you know what I do to little birds?
He smacks him.
And what would Santa say if he learned that 2 of his elves turned away his valuable merchandise?
What was that?
And on Christmas Eve of all nights, let me ask you something. How's his sleigh gonna fly if he's missing reindeer? Maybe you should stick to making toys, buddy.
I know what you're doing, and I don't like it.
He's blackmailing you.
Just let me and my friend here through, and nobody's Christmas is gonna be ruined, if you catch my Christmas spirit.
Right. Hurry. Get on through.
Cheers, mate.
Nick and Rudolph entered the courtyard. It was quite the sight. Ice sculptures of the red-clad gift-giver lined the patio, all of them doing something different, from holding his loot bag and waving, to an intricate setup involving an ice replica of the sleigh and reindeer. There were also a range of Christmas trees, from short to tall, all decorated uniquely and with great detail. But time was of the essence, so Nick patted Rudolph on the back and sent him to the stables. Very stealthily, he entered the main door and came into the most pompous of grand foyers. Not a soul in sight, Nick dashed up a double flight of stairs until he reached the 3rd floor.
Okay, Frosty had said something about a secret switch somewhere. It's not activated by twisting this candlestick. How about the old spinning bookcase trick? Nope. Wait, what do we have here?
There was a small snow globe on the shelf. Nick fought the urge, but eventually he gave in and shook it hard. A clunk sounded, and before him, the secret elevator appeared and opened up for him. Voices could be heard from the main door, so Nick hurried onto the lift and shut the door. With a startling yet smooth force, the elevator shot up to the top in a matter of seconds. The door opened again, and Nick was greeted with the scent of cinnamon, with a hint of burnt. What was burnt, Nick could not tell, but it was something. A person that was undoubtedly Santa stood in the study with his back turned. He was not your regular Santa, but looked as if the Grinch was actually successful in disguising himself as such. He was helping himself to his classic Christmas cuisine.
Milk and cookies?
No thanks. I'm allergic to gluten.
You know, nobody leaves me milk and cookies anymore. It breaks an old man's heart.
Well, to be fair, in this day and age, no one should really be breaking and entering, let alone expecting them to leave a snack. Get a grip, Santa.
You would mock the work of Santa Claus? Who dares to disturb me on the eve of my great duty?
Honestly, it would take way too long to explain. But you see, Santa, I'm here for your hat.
Santa turned his head to Nick, revealing his startling features. He had seen better days. His beard was patchy, and eyes had bags and expressed an unfortunate lack of passion for what he does.
Not many people know about the secret of the hat. Did my old friend Jack Frost thaw out his tongue long enough to blab about things spoken in confidence?
He only told me because he believes you need to be stopped. You melted Frosty's family.
And the snowman too. Well, it seems you've met the entire League of Traitors. If this Christmas is going to follow through, and it will, I'm going to have to deal with you right now.
With surprising speed, Santa bull-charged Nick. They crashed through the grand window and plummeted down into the courtyard. Faster and faster they fell. Then suddenly a gust of snow picked up the two of them before they hit the ground. Their descent slowed until they fell on a soft bank of snow, unharmed. The final words of Frosty the Snowman echoed through Nick's ears.
Go, Nick! Now's your chance. Get the hat!
It had fallen in the middle of the courtyard. Nick made a dash for it, but moments before he could reach it, Santa snatched it up. His complexion had taken a hit since the hat came off, but he quickly readorned it and returned to his original state.
So, all I have to do is get the hat off your head. Sounds easy enough.
Ho, 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 ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Are my chances that low?
Sonny, you have no idea. It's time I show you the true power of Christmas.
Pulling a cookie out of his pocket, Santa took a bite. With a pumping noise, his muscles expanded and bulged in his slender outfit. He grew bigger and bigger until Santa towered over Nick like a colossus. From seemingly the sky fell a giant candy cane with the width of a tree trunk. It landed heavily, blasting snow in all directions. Santa picked it up with one hand and beckoned Nick forward.
Wow, definitely not how I imagined spending my holidays.
Just then, Jack's amulet began to tremble. Nick held it up, and from his grip, it transformed into a lean blade made out of unbreakable ice.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Jack's little toys can't stand up to the might of Christmas.
Santa lunged. Nick deflected the attack with the blade and ran around his side. Santa anticipated this and turned back to Nick. He was faster than he looked. Their weapons of choice clashed a few more times, and Nick jumped back. The two circled each other. Nick glanced to the left and spotted Rudolph bolting through the courtyard. Santa swung at him with his behemoth candy cane and missed. Rudolph scooped Nick up onto his back and put some distance between them and Santa.
Where are you going, young troublemaker?
Rudolph turned and kicked up snow. With a bolt of energy, he charged Santa and leaped right over his head.
I'll be taking this.
Nick grabbed the hat off of Santa's head, and Rudolph landed in the snow behind him.
No!
Santa shrieked, and as his magic faded, so did he. Two coal black boots remained where a hulk of a Santa once stood. It was over.
You did it. You actually saved Christmas.
Come on, Jack. Don't sound that surprised.
Well, I am. But now that's taken care of, there's one last favor I have to ask of you.
And what could possibly be left for me to do?
You must put on the hat and become the next Santa Claus.
What? Are you serious?
Someone must continue the tradition of Christmas, and you're more suited than anyone else.
Nick pondered and pondered.
Ah, what the heck. It beats my old job, and I betcha it has better health benefits.
Nick placed the hat on his head, and his body surged with magic, a mind blasted with knowledge. He knew what it was that he must do.
Wait, what time is it? 11:57?
With a whistle, the sleigh of Santa Claus, pulled by 8 reindeer, flew around the side of the castle and landed in front of them. Rudolph made himself comfortable at the front, and Nick pulled himself up onto the sleigh for the first time, sitting himself down beside an enormous bag of gifts. As his body moved with the magic of the hat, he felt strangely nostalgic about all of this. Jack Frost waved and the sleigh began to move. Pulled by the reindeer, it rose off the snowy earth and into the sky, as the laughter of the new Santa Claus could be heard throughout the night.